Welcome to part 2 of Spider-Man the movie. Trust your Spider sense. When he goes off, get out of there.
Yeah. So here we are in level 2, Warehouse Hunt. And by the way, in preparation for this commentary, I was just playing it earlier on my GameCube. So yeah, I stopped as soon as I finished Birth of a Hero. That's when I popped into the Discord so we can do the commentary. So yeah.
Oh, nice. So yeah.
I love this line. Listen to this.
See those heavily shadowed areas? Whenever you're in a shadowed spot like that,
Wait for it.
You become invisible to the bad guys.
I love Bruce Campbell's little laugh there because
I have this feeling that Bruce Campbell kind of did his own lines for this game.
Bruce Campbell is the true villain of Batman. I mean, Spider-Man. Shit.
I really love
Same thing.
Bruce Campbell is awesome. Yeah, catch him in a Spider-Man game.
Well, technically not, because Batman has no powers and Spider-Man does. So.
So, you're trying to be completely stealthy about this, and you're scaring all the bad guys away.
Yep.
Ha 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 ha.
Yes. But yeah,
I guess Bruce Campbell's laugh there was pretty appropriate.
Yeah. I love Bruce Campbell. But yeah, Bruce Campbell is amazing. Groovy.
But anyway, I think it's time we talk about this level, and since we talked about it off while not recording, let's start with Will. Will?
So, even though, this level used to, even when I first played this game, I used to never like it, if only because I just found it so boring. I found the level design rather dull. I found just the concept of it frustrating, if only because, it's not an easy level to traverse necessarily. There's a lot of nooks you got to go through, a lot of crannies. It's very maze-like, and there's not really a map. And it's like there's stealth in it, but stealth is almost completely non-essential.
So
mainly because the enemies have no threat, pose very little threat in this stage, and also I found the boss rather frustrating too. So it's I'm not that into this game, to be perfectly honest. I just found it repetitive. Didn't find it on the variety very well, and I didn't like the swing. I'm not a fan of the swinging in this game. It works. It's not it's not bad or it controls poorly. It's just it doesn't really feel like Spider-Man because you're swinging on nothing. You shoot your web into the sky and it grabs onto the ethereal void, and you somehow swing on that, and it's
just like the movie.
Yeah, it's like in the movie he's swinging on buildings. You see the web hit corners of skyscrapers and stuff, and that's cool. But yeah.
That being said, I love that one joke. I love that joke in Spider-Man: Homecoming where he tries to he shoots his web at the sky, expecting there to be something to hang on to there, and turns out nothing happened, and it was just awkward silence. Because as soon as I saw that, I was just like, this ain't like the video game, Spidey.
As I was saying, this game's voice acting isn't very good either. The guy, the gang member we heard in the last level, I don't know, he killed him. He sure does seem like he's in a high stretch situation, especially when he's going oh, there's a I can I mean the combat in this game is solid. For its time, that's one thing I could say about this game.
Yeah, I do like the combat for this game. I think it's probably the best part of this game, actually.
Yeah,
the moves don't feel useless. There's not really any particular move that feels useless. Maybe the web gloves feel a little useless, but
yeah,
when it comes to
the web gloves are supposed to increase your punching power.
Yeah, which is nice. It's something. It's sacrificing a little bit of your web meter for attack power, which is nice. And it's that's a thing that I noticed a few games at this point in time. It's they didn't know how to make
I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
Air vents and ceilings or walls
Like
and
we are
wind
seeing
tunnels
through
that go
Spider-Man's
down.
head.
There's nothing in Toby Maguire's head. I knew it.
In other words, he's empty-headed. Oh God.
I knew it. But I was like, but yeah, when it comes to when it comes to
I can't let anything stop me. I have to find a way to shut off the power so I can get through.
yeah, I figured. But anyway, like,
Okay, now just in case you don't know already, you can activate a console or switch by
okay,
standing next to it,
it's
facing it.
it just it's not a particularly interesting game, and I feel like that's kind of
No, seriously, go ahead.
just the consensus with most like licensed games, especially at the time.
Do it.
So
Find the guy who killed Uncle Ben.
Well,
I found this game rather unremarkable. That's
well, the thing
really
is,
what I'm getting
well,
at.
the thing is though, in my case, I think the game, I think it's okay because it does match. There are some parts of the game that does match the elements of the movie. Like they match the character design of the main characters, but I think. But even though the the enemies of the game are kind of stock in a sense, but the thing is though, like but yeah, I do love the combat in this game. It is pretty good.
You ain't getting this fuse. Better take off while you still
Yeah.
can.
Wrong guy.
Great.
Yeah.
Easy to
I
say
like-
that behind a locked door.
You know?
Yeah, but I'm back to what Will was talking about with the level design. Yeah, I'll admit the level design is kind of maze-like sometimes, and that's easily some of the worst levels. In fact, one of the worst levels in the game is actually pretty maze-like, but we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah.
This level, on the other hand, I don't think is that bad.
Mhm.
It's not too bad. I didn't find myself getting lost here all that much.
Yeah.
Right.
There was only one time in the warehouse where I kind of got stuck, but that was about it.
Yeah, keep in mind that this is me like trying to remember my knowledge of this game from like 6-year-old me. So
So when you were 6 years old, you didn't like it that much back then either.
yeah, or 7. Like I thought it was cool because Spider-Man, but I couldn't really do much because I was terrible at it. And even now, it's like it just seems like another licensed Spider-Man game to me.
But,
You should get that door open.
but yeah, 'cause I never. But yeah, again, like the first thing I ever saw was Spider-Man 2, and I did see the video game trailer for that, but I couldn't play it because at that point it was rated T for teen, and I couldn't play it because I wasn't old enough.
Oh yeah,
My parents are cool. They let me play Halo when I was 8 years old.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This game is rated
E
I
for
think-
everyone.
E for everyone. Yeah,
It was rated
this
E.
game's rated E for everyone. That's quite surprising.
Oh yeah, the web shield. That was yeah.
Web Dome. Oh,
Web
yeah,
Dome.
Let's talk about those powers. Those powers actually did not exist from this game. It actually existed from the PS1 Spider-Man game. Web
Mhm.
Glove, Web
Well,
Dome, and the Web Ball. That was all from the PS1 game.
I meant that game was also released on N64.
True.
So
Yeah.
I meant okay. Let me try to make it a bit. Oh, and the Dreamcast. So okay, I'll just say the 2000 or 1999 Spider-Man game.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like,
but yeah, you get the idea.
Honestly, I never even played the 2000 version of Spider-Man on the PlayStation.
It was made by the same people, right?
Activision.
Maybe? I don't know. I think so. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. Spider-Man 2000.
Anyway, welcome to level 3, Birth of a Hero.
Birth of the Hero. Yep.
And
2000. That's when this game. When that's PlayStation, Game Boy Color, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and Windows. That's when the 2000 Spider-Man game came out.
So
And that game had Web Glove, Web Dome, and Web Ball in before this game.
you mean Web Impact?
So Bubble Shield, Hadouken.
so
Yes, Activision did publish the 2002 Spider-Man game and the 2000 Spider-Man game.
Okay, yeah. So
Uh,
they at least had the same publisher.
Yeah, the 2000 Spider-Man game was developed by Neversoft. The 2002 game, on the other hand, was developed by it has multiple developers. Gray Matter Interactive for the PC version, Treyarch
Yeah,
for the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox versions,
Everything else.
and Digital Eclipse for the Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, this whole bit of Spider-Man can basically be summed up as, "My name is Peter Parker. You killed my uncle. Prepare."
Prepare to die.
Prepare to die.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So anyway, I was gonna mention like if you were able to go to this room undetected, you would see
You could
like
get the Gold Spider, and let's talk about that. Fuck trying to get through here undetected. I had a really annoying time trying to get by here undetected while I was playing this level earlier.
I've actually there are some moments where I have gotten through there undetected and I managed to get the
If you press the
Because there were several times where I was just hanging on the ceiling, just trying to slowly get by and zip web to the door, and then I start hearing the crook say, "Looks like the freak wants to play," and then the door opens and more crooks show up, and the Gold Spider disappears. And
yeah.
I hate that. I really hate that.
I hate that too.
Right thumbstick button again to exit look around mode.
I do like look around mode in this game because it lets you web zip to anywhere you can without.
It is handy, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is useful whenever I can.
Okay, I do like this combo right here, the handspring and combo, and this room's actually kind of annoying because of how many of the crooks you gotta fight.
Yeah, and
Or
also
you could just web zip to the very ceiling and just ignore them.
well,
For now, anyway.
yeah, for now
You can
because
Until they get
the-
guns, but you know.
You can also get the Red Spider to get more health in case you are low on health. In fact, I think there's 2 of them in this room.
Mhm.
Maybe 3, I'm not sure.
But if you press the white button, you lock the camera.
Now here's something I didn't really get. So this is the Xbox version. I'm playing this on the Xbox 360. When I first played this, I was confused about the white button and the black button. Apparently, it's but apparently it's only the left the L and R, the front L and R.
The left and right bumpers. Yeah, that's what the black button. That's what whenever you're playing an original Xbox game on the 360, they use the left bumper and right bumpers for the uses of the black and white buttons from the original Xbox controller.
Yeah, which really is kind of a bit awkward, especially when you play Wrath of Cortex.
Yeah, like well, the black and white buttons were pretty much infamous. Like they were really, really dumb. But like they were put on the controller like a second pair of start and select. Like they were awkwardly placed. So and they were used for stuff like weapon switching and stuff like that. So because you know, a lot of games had ports on the PS2 which had shoulder buttons, and and the Xbox had the same amount of controllers or same amount of buttons, but those extra 2 buttons were next to the face buttons rather than above the triggers. So it just came down to awkward control schemes.
Yeah,
And,
although sometimes the black and white buttons are not really used for weapon switching, but rather an alternate menu, because Ninja Gaiden actually does that, because while it does have a start button for pausing the game, it also has a black or white button for like bringing up the map or something like that.
Right. Yeah, like Halo 2 used it for like switching grenades and stuff like that. So
that is weird.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so like let's the more we forget, and what's even better is that there's a small company that's trying to bring the original Xbox controller back to the Xbox One because
Oh,
we like
you mean the Duke controller?
yeah,
really?
the Duke.
What?
Duke.
I never.
Yeah, considered to be one of the worst controllers ever made because of how bulky and just how just
unnecessarily big it is.
yeah, they're bringing back the Duke. Except this time it has an an LED screen on the where the Xbox logo is, so it's like it looks cool now.
All right, so
Oh, it has shoulder buttons now too. It
There's-
has shoulder buttons. So
there's Spike, who's arson
Spike actually is pretty annoying.
because there's shotgun and blinding flash grenades.
which don't do much to blind the screen, I've noticed.
Oh wow. Yeah, you're kicking his ass, Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Because I didn't have this much because I had a lot more trouble with this guy than I should have when I played this level earlier.
Now at the end you're just spamming Hadouken.
Hadouken.
How does he know? How does he know about the old man? Because I'm his nephew, you idiot.
Don't try webbing him up, by the way, because he'll break free easily.
Yeah, never use. Yeah, never use web. Yeah, never use web yank or web capture. Only use web impact.
I'm warning you, you psycho!
I could have stopped you at the fight promoter's office. I could have saved Uncle Ben.
Duh.
So, how about that actual comment?
We actually did have plenty to talk about, though, for this part, mainly because we talked about, well, the original Xbox and whatnot. So, yeah. So I'm sure we'll have. I'm sure we can find something to talk about in the later levels. And again,
It's great that we're now taking turns to talk now, isn't it?
But that was part 2. Tune in next time when we get to part 3, when we finally get to see Spider-Man in video game form.
the real Spider-Man, like the proper Spider-Man, proper suited Spider-Man, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. We'll see you then.
Yeah.